All right, folks, welcome. Saturday morning cartoons rolls on Batman animated series. This week is called Off Balance. And again, I was tempted to make it two like episodes in one. And then when you get into the meat and you see the episode, there's so much more we can kind of, at least start some conversation about. I don't know if you're doing rewatches with me or not, but let me tell you what, this show never ceases to impress because on the surface, it's a kind of generic villain story because of Vertigo. Like Vertigo is the villain, and there is a Count Vertigo. I don't think he's associated mostly with Green Arrow, but this story is really a direct adaptation, if you will, of Detective Comics, which is issue 411. Let me see. I have it. I pulled it up just so I could share that with you guys real quick. Denny O'Neil wrote the story, so we get League of Assassins, you get Talia, you get some of the different things that we're talking about there. So again, just great comic book stuff that hopefully, if you're into this, so you want to kind of like try to track one of these down for yourself. It's an older issue, 15 center, so it might be a little bit on the pricier side. But with that said, this is a lot of fun because you end up with this sort of like, League of Shadows group and the introduction of Talia al Ghul, and we're gonna get our quick. Is it a cameo that he's like? It's Ra's al Ghul's cameo appearance. I don't. It's not really his full appearance yet, right? But you get moments that you see how Talia. First off, Talia has upper hand on Batman at one point. Has removed the mask to help him. Therefore, she knows who he is. She's really pretty unfazed by that. You have Ra's calling him the detective at the end of this episode. And I have to be honest, I get the chance to talk about Len Wein because Len Wein wrote this episode. And let's be honest, I have repeatedly done my best to tell you one of the most underrated, underheralded creators of comics of all time. And even though we made some changes with League of Assassins and turned into, Society of Shadows, we've made some changes here. But all this other stuff is still there, right? The Statue of Liberty Hitchcock reference. We get some just really, really fun stuff that's in here. So let me get through this little intro here real quick. Get a little bit there. They're off balance. And we do get Virgo, and there's our Len Wein reference. So, and again, we're at the statue. Well, they don't call it the Statue of Liberty in the show, right? It's called something else. I wrote that down. Let me pull my notes back up. Statue of Justice. Yes, Statue of Justice in the Batman animated series universe. They're at the Statue of Justice. Yeah, that's what it is. And you have basically just generic investigation for this weapon, this sort of like, I don't know, let's call it the earthquake gun. Because it doesn't really matter. It's the MacGuffin of the episode, right? I love how he just goes over the side. It's great. We just don't get, yeah. Here they come. The shadows society members are there, and they're sort of like fisticuffs, and they're kind of moving around. And I will say this: it is fun to see Batman have, I don't want to say struggles, if you will, but there's been like normal thugs that Batman in the Batman animated series where he has actually had some challenges and some difficulties with. So with people that are this trained and talented, you would expect him to have some ups and downs before he kind of finds his footing and can get the upper hand. And that's kind of the beginning of this episode. We get quite a bit of time spent before we end up with Gordon, which of course Gordon has one of the best lines right here. Well, first off, let's just say this about Gordon. He's at a shooting range. You don't want to mess with Gordon, man. So this is the subtleties and the brilliance of storytelling. And I just want to pause here for a minute because this is the Adam. So this is the kind of thing where when you're making your laundry list of things to do, right? If Pops is magically hired to write the next Batman film, right? We're gonna binge watch all of the Batman animated series with notes, whiteboard, the whole thing, creating a character Bible, create all of the rules, all of the different things that you need to build the character around. And one thing with Gordon is this sort of like stoic piety, like this gravitas that he has. He has this big jaw. He's a very competent, honorable man that wants to do right. I think he is truly frustrated that he has to use the vigilante, the Batman, to get the job done because Gotham is just held together by threads. But here you get a quick little shot. Well, that was probably not the best word to use, but you get an image that portrays what a dead shot Gordon is. 3 to the head, 3 to the chest. That is brilliant. See, that is storytelling of showing you and not telling you. Not telling us that Gordon is a good shot. Not telling us that he's good and knows what he's doing. No, no. It's just there. Maybe you don't even get that right away. Maybe the episode is on and you look down and you miss this moment. Yeah. And then when we go forward a little bit, and we have this scene, Batman and he have had an interaction and he leaves. And he makes a comment about nailing Batman's feet down. Like he can't even keep Batman, like Batman's ninja skills. It never ceases to impress Gordon. Like it never gets, it is a fun sense of awkwardness that the films, I think, have captured reasonably well with the comments like, yeah, never get used to that, or you'll have to get used to that talking to someone else, those kinds of things. That's one of the few things they partly get. They don't get the first part, right? They don't get the part where he just steps out of the shadows, like he was there all along, kind of thing. Okay. Then we go to the Wayne Tech where we have the machine, Vertigo's attacking, Batman's attacking, or there's definitely going to be some fighting, and Vertigo is interrupted as well by, we don't know her name at this point, but her name is Talia. So Talia's here. So, and it's fun that I will say this is not the best animated effect, and the dynamics in this episode in a lot of ways were not as good as some of the others. And you can see how it works on everybody else, right? Bullock looks like he's going to hurl. Now, again, the brilliance of the episode. I don't know if Lin Wein put it in the script or if this got to be sort of like nuance that comes around from the storyboarding of the episode or not. But the fact that they get to play a little bit with um, the coin, right? So this is the famous coin that's in the Batman, the famous coin that's in the Batcave, where you end up with the coin that was nearly took Batman out, and Two Face, like whatever happened to the coin, right? There's kind of references to that in a previous episode. So you have these kinds of things that are done to give you more depth and more than just let's just talk about it, right? What is Alfred doing? Well, Alfred could just be standing there. Sure, that's happened in multiple episodes, but here he's working on the penny. He's working on this giant coin. Is it a penny? I don't know. It should be a penny. It should have been. No, it's a jagged doll. Yeah, right there's the jagged doll. Okay. Okay. Then we're back in the action with Talia, and Talia's thrown into the mix because the League is attacking her as well. So it's 2 against 4 or 5 before the gun is used, and they fall down this big ravine, and that's where Batman is actually injured. Okay. And when he wakes up, he realizes he doesn't have his mask on. Okay. And the weird thing about this was it's not even played up as like a big, holy cow, she knows. It's more like, my mask. Oh my gosh, you're going to know who I am. And she's like, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't care. It really is saying what any comic book reader already knows, which it's so funny because it literally is the most common sense response to Batman is who could be Batman, right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out it's a white dude with this height, approximate weight. He would have to be this reasonably wealthy or independent thereof, have some sort of way of sustaining himself. It wouldn't take long for someone to pretty much just deduce who Batman probably is, down to maybe 2 or 3 people, right? So Ra's al Ghul has known. Talia probably knew. They already knew. That's kind of the brilliance of Ra's al Ghul is not motivated to eliminate Batman because he knows who he is, right? He always has an agenda. I love the fact that Talia is drawn with a very beautiful and elegant like look about her. And I looked up who she was sort of inspired by, and I'm just not that familiar with the body of her work, even though I know the name. Her name is Charlotte Rampling, and she's obviously an icon. I know the name, um, but most of these movies, I just don't think I know. I don't know much about them. I know I've seen some of these movies, but Charlotte Rampling has been in tons of movies through the 60s and beyond. She's in the Second Basic Instinct. She had an appearance in Dexter. Things that are more modern, I was going to mention. I was trying to think of what her role was in something like DOA or Angel Heart, because those are more like something I definitely remember, but I don't remember her role per se. So I have to be honest, I'm a little interested to know. And really was fascinating is she was in the new Dune movie. So in the new Dune movie, she plays Reverend Mother Mohayam. Is how you say her name? Mohayam. She's the truth sayer. So that's kind of the inspiration for Talia. Very interesting. So this episode again proved to be a lot more than on the surface. Like I'm already like over halfway. There's really not much here, right? As far as like depth of plot, bad guys, MacGuffin, mysterious woman, plot gets thick, plot's thickened. They work together, and they work together in this very interesting dynamic of they're basically being attacked by Vertigo, who rigs up this room. And this is where I wanted to get to. Look at this great shot of them like joining forces, quite literally holding hands. So, famous comic book that I read very early on, and I guess totally by accident. This was not one that anyone had recommended to me. This was literally like, again, I've said multiple times, went to the bookstore, comic books, post Batman 89, Walden Books, University Mall. I'll buy this one, paycheck or so, buy this one. There's a book called Son of the Demon, which is about his relationship with Talia and how they have a child, basically. And that becomes Damian Wayne, which we put into canon later on. But here you really do get just, a fascinating sort of combination. And by the way, I didn't even mention it, but there was a quick shot very early on where when he's in the battle with one of the I just keep calling them ninjas. I don't know what to call the League of Assassins, what they call it, Society of Shadows or whatever nonsense. They're just ninjas. They cut his belt off. His utility belt got left behind. Which is funny because in moments like this, we never talk about like, could you imagine like a little kid wandering around and you found the bat freaking utility belt? That'd be so cool. I want a grappling gun. My gosh, it'd be so cool. I don't know where I'd have to go downtown. I have to drive 30 minutes to go downtown so I could use the grappling gun. And then I'd probably figure out how to not get arrested for using the grappling gun. Anyway. So the Vertigo stuff happening, and then I will say it's super cheesy. He's going through all the little traps, and he does the kind of like the I'm so clever. I close my eyes kind of thing. Like the Vertigo didn't work because I closed my eyes, which I don't think that's exactly how Vertigo works. It's an inner ear thing, has to do with motion and things like that. There are things that trigger Vertigo, which can be visual, but there are other things as well. So there's Vertigo, and he tries to use the earthquake gun. As they do, they end up reaching for these ropes that swing the bell. He saves the gun, which, by the way, this is probably one of the worst edits to date. Let me get to this shot because the gun falls, right, and Batman jumps, but he's sliding on a rope, and then just gets the gun. Like that's really that gun defied gravity to make that happen. Ooh, that was a stretch. That is probably, if it's not the worst, it's among some of the worst edits the show has had to date. Look, everyone's going to have some shortcomings and some off. Yeah, it's okay. That's not good. That was not a good look. So, and then just kind of he goes over the edge into the water. We have no dead body, so the Vertigo lives on. He's got the earthquake gun, and then Talia. You can see it, by the way, the audience gets to know this happens. See, Batman just knows. Batman just knows. So there's going to be a double cross. But see, we get to see this happen. You really have to pay attention because she pulls a double cross. She's on the phone with her pops. and there's Raish because the gun doesn't actually work. Batman had sabotaged the gun. So he knew something's pretty sketchy was going on. And it's like, well, of course she kind of knew because she knew where all the traps were. She knew where some of the dangers were, some of that. So, but I have to be honest, it's good to see Raish. See, Raish is one of those interesting villains I think does work cinematically. I don't know that I like the fact that they made him the villain in an overarching story with the Nolan trilogy. Like it was supposed to connect the first to the third movie. I really wish it was more like just the first movie and he's sort of out there and alive. I really hated the fact that, that was Talia. It's a really cool villain that doesn't have to be a crazy person in Arkham tied to Gotham or something like that. It's just a mysterious entity that's out there. And sometimes those agendas and sometimes those things will align and put them in crosshairs of one another. So a very underrated villain in the DC universe. Probably not been done well enough in a lot of ways. So anyway, there you go. Saturday morning cartoons. Rewatching Saturday morning cartoons is a blast. I'm really sorry if some of you guys are a little sick of this already, or maybe you're burned out. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're like, oh man, thanks, Pops. It's great to get a chance to redo this. I'm enjoying sort of like taking in something that is this good each week. And like I said, I was kind of inspired. Like I watched the first 20 minutes and I kind of rewound it, start over, watch it again. At this point, I thought, well, I'm going to try to get through this one and I'll do one more because I didn't think there was much to this kind of. Then I thought more on the Talia Batman relationship, bringing in Raish, giving some Lin Wein love. Oh, Lin Wein. Oh, thank you for Wolverine, Lin Wein. Thank you. So with that, I am Pops. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Take care, everybody.
We'll be right back.
2 times the might, 2 ways to fight. It's Batman's new Duo Force with incredible 2-in-1 vehicle technology. Mr. Freeze fires an icy sky attack. Now with Duo Force, Turbo Surge Batman changes his turbo flight machine into a hammering hover sled. And with Duo Force, Airstrike Robin's paraglider converts into a thundering air runner. Now turn up the power even more as the dynamic duo interlock to rock crime. Mr. Freeze, thawed out with ease. Batman's Duo Force.
2 times the might, 2 ways to fight.
Figures come with vehicles each sold separately.
There's a new cereal in the neighborhood with O's and ghosts.
Tastes real good. Ghostbusters.
Marshmallow ghosts, fruit-flavored O's. Ghostbusters taste great with milk and juice and toast. A nutritious breakfast with the ghosts.
Ghostbusters.
Fruit-flavored O's.
Ghostbusters.
Marshmallow ghosts.
Ghostbusters.
Hey, what are you gonna crunch?
Ghostbusters.
B-I-N-G-O, and Bingo was his name. There was a farmer had a dog, and Bingo was his name. Oh, B-I-N-G-O, 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 and Bingo was his name.
Kids are impressionable. That's why here at this station, we watch the programs and commercials your child watches carefully. He may see bad guys, but not in the role of heroes. And he'll learn that crime doesn't pay. Because your child's welfare is our concern, too. That's part of our code. The code of the National Association of Broadcasters for television and the greater public interest.
For America's favorite hero this Christmas in the animated movie Batman, Mask of the Phantasm.
Calling Unit 4, Two-Face is heading west on. Never mind, Batman got him. Unit 6, the Joker's ramming City Hall. Never mind, Batman got him. Be advised, one action toy comes with each Batman Happy Meal you buy at McDonald's. All units be on the lookout for Catwoman. Never mind.
Hey guys, micro-size with micro machines.
Get ready for the ultimate shootout with Turbo Shot from Micro Machines. Because what gets loaded into Turbo Shot comes out racing and ripping for the target. Turbo Shot. You just load them up and shoot them out.
Micro-size the super small.
New Micro Machines Turbo Shot comes with everything here. from Galoon.